Let's take you through the 33-strong grid for DD2. Race 4 of the meeting, heat number 1. On pole position representing Finland, it's Veli-Veljainen with Mark Kimber from Great Britain alongside. Petter Bezel, the reigning and defending champion, starts on the inside of row 2, joined by last year's Rotax Max Euro Golden Trophy winner and Grand Finals champion, Martin van Leeuwen from the Netherlands. Leonardo Baccaglini will be joined by Philip Moitzi on row 3, with Matthias Jette Jacobsen and Marienburg weekend winner, Maxime Dirks. Ragnar Veres joined by SP Motorsport team boss Stan Pex on row number 5, completing the top 10. Patrick Snows-Lockmelis and Jakob Bezel, row 6. Lawrence Seyfried and Tino Egerskov on row 7, with Charlie Anderson, Edward Matthews, Hannes Border, Lucas Thompson, Niklas Krenz and Florian Breitenbach, with the quartet of Germans running at the top 20. Philip Jepsen and Finn Stiak, row 11, with Carl Borgard, Lucas Bernot, Zenderua, Manuel Tenchert, Elias Kaliakmanis, Andreas Zinkevicius, Matis Malinovskis, Hugo Schwarzer, Alessandro Glauser, Benjamin Unterberger and Rasmus Vendelbo completing the 33-strong grid. Big thank you to Barry Ashcroft, who's just messaged me. I see you're watching as well. Morning, mate. Looks a bit damp. Good luck to all the Brits. Thank you very much for tuning in, Barry. Good to, well, also congratulations to Jacob for winning at the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Festival not too long ago, picking up a ticket for the Grand Final. So well done to young Jacob, whose career I've followed since 2018. But with 10 minutes on the clock, plus an additional lap, the red lights are ignited on the starting gantry. So into the tram lines we go. We are given lights out. We're underway here as they flood their way, 3 abreast at points, heading into turns 1, 2, and now into 3. It's a scrabble for traction. As I think maybe Ragnar Veres nearly got compromised going through the apex of turn number 3 for the first time. 3, 4 abreast coming out of turn number 4. But leading the way, it is a Sodi car. It is Petter Bezel that has got the good start from in front of everybody else. And we have had a couple of carts, and they are pointing the wrong way, going through turn number 5. Trying to pick out the numbers. One of them looks to be Alessandro Glauser, I believe, and it is a Sodi cart that is stricken and is being pushed away. Could be Benjamin Unterberger from Austria, as the field makes its way through turn number 11 for the first time. But it's the current reigning and defending champion, Petter Bezel, who leads the way by a country mile. Veljainen looks to have dropped down into 3rd position, but there's a send and a half. Who on earth was that? That was Maxime Dirks. Or was that Martin van Leeuwen? That was Martin van Leeuwen, I believe, which is the case, and he's just got past pole sitter Veli-Veljainen. And it's Denmark's Matthias Jette Jacobsen that is in 2nd place. There has been an absolute change. Everything's been turned upside down and on its head, because multiple drivers ended up falling down the order. Ragnar Veres started 9th, now 21st. So a lot to make up. Philip Moitzi trying for an overtake on Stan Pex going through turn 6. And Stan Pex looking up the inside of Maxime Dirks through turn 7, now into 8. Pex uses the curbs, bounces the right wheels into the air, as Jette Jacobsen's just been passed by Van Leeuwen for 2nd place. Veljainen's got Kimber breathing down the back of his wet race suit. Now Kimber's gotten past. 2 minutes down, 8 to go, plus an additional lap. But at the moment, Petter Bezel from the Czech Republic leads the way. Everyone's all tippy-toeing coming through turn number 14. Lawrence Seyfried's in broad in a battle, looks to be with Charlie Anderson from Sweden. Jakob Bezel looks to be in the mix on that one. Zenderer getting his elbows out a little bit. He's trying to pass Lucas Bruno coming out of turn 2 and into turn 3. And there has been a coming together. And someone is backwards. And there is a whole load of mist and spray up in the air. And that is Lawrence Seifried, I believe. It is. I've just caught the back number plate. And there is somebody else that is actually standing at the marshal post. That'll be for the stricken Sodi car. Someone else has got off out of turn number 6. And that is the 461. Returning Niklas Krenz. So 3 minutes in, 7 to go. Philip Moitzi taking an unconventional racing line to get the momentum out of turn number 11 to chase down Maxim Didix. Didix is still trying to keep pace. Stan Pex has got past Vili Viliainen in the process and now up into P5. The next person in Stan Pex's crosshairs is going to be Mark Kimber. As there's a send and a half, that was Philip Moitzi, the 449 from KSCA Sodi Europe. Through on Maxim Didix. So Lawrence Seifried and Niklas Krenz both coming into dramas. Seifried on the approach into turn 4. Niklas Krenz going through the exit of turn number 6. Or turn number 5 thereof. Oh, sideways. Oh, well held there, Maxim Didix. He was sideways. Moitzi was trying to get through. And then the floodgates might open very shortly because I spot behind them. Well, side by side, you've got Stan Pex and a few others, maybe even Patrick Snolls-Lock-Mellis has gotten some positions in the meantime. Pex goes to the outside at turn number 12 and gets the whole shot, gets the momentum up the inside. Has a little bit of a run wide there. And that's Moitzi. Moitzi's lost ground. And here comes Super Sweet Charlie Anderson. Didix up the inside of Viliainen. And it's 3 wide. Pex goes to the inside of turn 3 and lines himself up nicely for turn 4. He's going to use the curves, but then Anderson's back up the inside of the Dutch driver. And Jakob Bezel is all... Well, I think Jakob Bezel was trying to get around the outside. I think... it's really getting so treacherous out there. We're halfway through the race, and these drivers, the amount of steering inputs must be phenomenal for this lot, because they're not also battling each other, they're battling the weather conditions as well. So when you have that double caveat, it's actually Leonardo Baccaglini that was having that drama with Patrick Snolls-Lock-Mellis. So Stan Pex has put in a personal best on the previous lap, 1 minute 5.743, but it's Martin van Leeuwen from the Netherlands, currently in P2, 2 laps ago, put in a 1 minute 4.688. So Van Leeuwen closing in on Peter Bezel and has just put in a 1 minute 4.5 in these wet weather conditions. Baccaglini now fending off the advances of one charging Dane in the form of Rasmus Vendelbo. A little bit further back, Lucas Thompson has passed Lucas Bernot from Canada. So that'll be a change for 12th and for 14th, respectively. 4 minutes on the clock to go, plus an additional lap, and still Peter Bezel is leading. But for how much longer is the big question. Stan Pex gets past Matthias Jette Jakobsen through turn 8 and gets the move secured by the entrance into the turn 9-10 chicane. The Dane gets a good run on the approach into turn number 11. Martin van Leeuwen is closing in on Peter Bezel for the race lead. Rain still hitting down on the circuit. So Benjamin Unterberger was the Sodi car that is stricken on the exit, the outskirts of turn number 5. So battle still happening, just keeping an eye. Hugo Schwarzer and Philip Jepsen from Germany and Denmark respectively, battling over what will be 30th position because Niklas Krenz is in front of them. Martin van Leeuwen is closing in on Peter Bezel. We're 70% of the way through the race, 30%. That's 3 minutes plus an additional lap still to go. And the gap has now gone down again. And both Peter Bezel and Martin van Leeuwen and also Patrick Snolls-Lock-Mellis, I've noticed, have all gone into the high 1 minute 4s. But Van Leeuwen with a 1 minute 4.523. has got that gap down to 0.344 of a second. So 2 minutes and 22 seconds plus an additional lap still remains. The gap now between them is half a second. A little bit further back, Charlie Anderson battling away with Petter Bezel's brother Jakob for what is genuinely 9th position. Charlie Anderson started down in 15th place. Van Leeuwen started on the outside of row number 2, but he's closing in on the race leader. Petter Bezel and Van Leeuwen, they were both lined up alongside each other on the second row of the grid with a minute and when we went racing. Over 8.25 minutes to go. Minute and 45 left plus an additional lap. Late on the brakes goes Van Leeuwen. Sweeps in a little bit wider into turn number 11 in comparison with the Czech Republic driver. Petter took the title for DD2 back last year, and then his brother Jakob took the title back in 2019 and went on to Sarno. So through across the line. The pace they're setting at the moment, I would give or take, it's going to be this plus another additional 2 laps. Mark Kimber in 3rd. Stan Peck's now up to 4th position and is within 2 seconds. Matthias Jedde Jakobsen has fallen back a little bit behind Stan Peck to the tune of about 1.7 seconds. Philip Moitzi, Patrick Snols-Lockmellis, Maxim Didix, Jakob Bezel and Charlie Anderson rounding out the top 10. What a drive from the back end of the grid so far. Rasmus Vendelbo take about 22 positions as now the lead has changed. Van Leeuwen got the better of Petter Bezel on that particular occasion, and that was going through into turn number 9. So the Dutchman now leads what will be just over 2 laps remaining. Now, there has been a bit of a significant shift because Van Leeuwen now over 7.5 tenths of a second ahead of Petter Bezel as the timer hits 0 as Van Leeuwen leaves turn number 4. The gap these two have pulled out was very reminiscent of the first senior Rotax heat that we saw earlier on today. So the last lap board now being prepared. Martin Van Leeuwen from the Netherlands will see it first. With some of the other drivers still squabbling for positions. And that is the 4:07. Ah, right. Alessandro Glauso is running in 26th position. It's now the final lap board has been shown. Van Leeuwen and Bezel have crossed the line. There's a little bit of a battle between. That is Patrick Snols-Lockmellis and Philip Moitzi. And Moitzi's putting in front. He's saying, look, man, let's just go. Let's just keep going forward. There's only 1 lap for them to do. Maxim Didix has now ended up behind Jakob Bezel in the 4:02. So the Belgian drops down to 9th position as the field floods its way over the start-finish line here at Wackersdorf. Van Leeuwen now heading out of the 2 final corners on the circuit. Turn 13, now turn 14, and Martin Van Leeuwen takes the first DD2 heat here at Wackersdorf by 1.371 seconds ahead of Petter Bezel. Mark Kimber, the current championship leader, gets his weekend off to a solid start with the 3rd place ahead of SP Motorsports' Stan Pex. Matthias Jedde Jakobsen ahead of what was a very, very close call between Jakob Bezel and Patrick Snols-Lockmellis, the pair separated by less than a tenth. Philip Moitzi and Charlie Anderson, with Maxime Dirix rounding out the top 10. A great start for Martin van Leeuwen from the Netherlands, with some drivers line astern or side by side coming across the stripe. That's the last of our classified. Well, we're waiting just for everything to finish up, but that is it for DD2. Race 4 of the meeting, heat number 1. So Van Leeuwen takes the win ahead of Peder Bezel, Mark Kimber, Stan Pex, Matthias Jette Jacobsen, Jakob Bezel, Patrick Snolslock-Mellis, Philip Moitzi, Charlie Anderson and Maxime Dirix, who ran at the top 10. 11th from stone dead last on the grid. Great drive from Denmark's Rasmus Vendelbo to take 11th position ahead of Ville Villainen, the pole sitter earlier on. Leonardo Baccaglini, Manuel Tenchert and Edward Matthews rounding out the top 15 positions. Matthews started in 16th place ahead of Florian Breitenbach, Hannes Borda, Lucas Thompson, Zendera and Latvia's Matis Malinovskis, who complete the top 20. Both Lawrence Seyfried and Niklas Krens would round out the top 22, having recovered from earlier dramas at both turn 4 and turn 6 respectively. Lucas Pernaut in 23rd ahead of Karl Borgard. Tino Egeskov rounds out the top 25, with Ragnar Virus, Finn Stiak, Hugo Schwarzer, Philip Jepsen, Andreas Sinkevicius, Ilias Kaliakmanis and Alessandro Glauser running at the 32 finishers. And unfortunately, Benjamin Unterberger on the very first lap retired from the race.